Hi there, in this video we'll be learning how to solve the linear inequality. So before we begin the topic, there are the symbols which I would like to discuss before starting the inequalities topic. So the first one is this symbol represents for less than. If there is a sign underneath with the symbol, that's called less than or equals to. This symbol represents for bigger than. And this represents, if there's a line underneath, then you say that is bigger than or equals to. So these are the inequality symbols that we'll be using later in our questions. And solving linear inequality means there won't be the equal sign. We are solving the equations with some inequality. Here we have got the first example where we are finding out the linear inequality. Because there's a word solve, solve means finding the x value. So remember that solve means finding the unknown. So here we have got in all the questions is a x. So I say that we are solving to find out the value of x. We'll go into the first thing that we need to find out what x is by itself. So I'm going to do the inverse of 5 on both the sides, which is minus 5. Then you would have 5x. Them two would simplify each other. Bigger than, when you do 16, take away 5 would be 11. The next step is because we are keeping x only by itself on the left hand side, so we need to divide by 5 on both the sides. So this would be now x is bigger than 11 over 5. Now looking to the next example now, we are having 3 bracket x minus 2 is bigger than 6. So we first of all expand the brackets. So expanding means multiplying them out. So it would be 3x minus 6 is bigger than 6. Now you do the inverse of minus 6, which is to do plus 6 on both the sides, and you will get 3x is bigger than 12. Because we are finding out the inequality for x, so we divide by 3 to both the sides, and it would be then, the next step would be x is bigger than, how many 3 makes 12 would be 4. So now we have got the next example where you see that you have got the x variable on the left hand side and you have got the x variable on the right hand side as well. So what you're going to do is always we take the lighter one to the bigger side. This is 2x. This is x. So the lighter one is, of course, is x is the lighter one. We're going to take that on the other side, which means that we do the inverse of the lighter one. So the inverse of minus x is to do plus x on both the sides. We have got 2x already, and when you do 2x plus x, that would give 3x. Then there's a minus 2 is bigger than 6. To get rid of this minus 2, you do plus 2 on both the sides, and you would have 3x is bigger than, them 2 simplifies, and then 6 plus 2 would be 8. So now we divide by 3 on both the sides, and that would be x is bigger than 8 over 3. So for the next question now, we do the same thing. We see that we have got the bracket. So whenever we see there's a bracket, we're going to expand the bracket first, which would be 2x minus 2, and the other side remains the same, which is 5x plus 7. Now we see that we have got the x on the left hand side and we are having the x on the right hand side. We're going to see that which one is the bigger x. So this is 2x, this is 5x. So of course we do the inverse of the smaller x value. So we do now minus 2x on both the sides. So this is, them 2 would cancels out. You would have minus 2 on the left hand side. Here 5x minus 2x would be 3x, and there's a plus 7 then. Now we do the inverse of the number from the right hand side, which is doing minus 7 on both the sides. So minus 2 and minus 7 makes minus 9, less than 3x. Now because we are finding out the inequality for x, we still have got 3. We divide by 3 to both the sides, and we will get minus 3 is less than x. You can leave your answer like this, or you can change it x. You write down, because we are so used to of keeping the x on the left hand side, so you can even switch that. Take left hand side your x value to. Where the inequality is opening to, it's opening towards the x. So here you're going to open it again towards x, and then you'll write down minus 3. So if you have got the answer written down as minus 3 is less than x, or x is bigger than minus 3, it means the same thing. To have a look to the next example now we have got the brackets on both the sides. We're going to open up the brackets from the left hand side and the right hand side. So expanding bracket means multiply the term which is written outside the bracket with the terms written inside the bracket. So it would be 12 minus 6x. There's a less than inequality, we keep the same. You do the same thing with the other side as well, which is 4x minus 6. Now we see that where do we have the x, the smaller x, so we move that onto the other side. So here I'm going to see that this is minus 6x, this is plus 4x. So you take the negative one onto the other side, so it would be the positive then. So you do the inverse of the negative 1 would be plus 6x and plus 6x on both the sides. You would have 12 on the left hand side. Them two cancels. Then you have 4x plus 6x would be 10x, and there's a minus 6 then. The next step is you do the inverse of minus 6, which is plus 6, and 12 plus 6 would be 18, 18 less than 10x. Now you divide by 10 on both the sides. So when you divide the 10 on the other side, you would have 1.8 is less than x. As I said that you can even write it down the other way, which is x, because it's opening towards the x, so it would be opening still towards x, and that would be x is bigger than 1.8. To have a look to the next example, this is little different. So you see that we have got three terms written now. So we have got something in the left hand side, middle, and the right hand side. To solve for x values in this kind of the questions, you would have the range of the values, which the lower bound and the upper bound would be given to you. So let's do the inverse of what we have got in the middle. The aim is to make x by itself here. First of all, I'm going to start by 1. So the inverse of a plus 1 is a minus 1. And I'm going to do with all the three terms. So when you do 7 minus 1 would be minus 8. Then you're having minus 1 plus 1 cancels. You would have just 2x here. And then less than equals to 5 take away 1 would be 4. Because we are trying to have the x by itself, so we still have got this 2. So we divide by 2, not with the middle or with one of them. It needs to be done with all three of them. So now you do the simple calculation. How many 2 makes 8 would be minus 4 then. Because of the negative sign, you keep the negative sign there. Then 2 goes with the 2 is a 1. So you just write down x. How many 2 makes 4 would be 2. So it means that now we have solved for x, and we are getting the range of the values, which is between minus 4 to 2, where minus 4 is not included, but 2 is included because 2 is having less than or equals to symbol with it. Here we have got the next one now. So we have got again the three things written, one on the left hand side, middle, and the right hand side. We are trying to make x the subject, so x needs to be by itself in the middle. So what's the inverse? So this symbol means is a divide. What's the inverse of divide 4 would be multiply 4 with all three of them. So minus 1 times 4 is a minus 4. Then there's a less than symbol. This top 4 and the bottom 4 would cancels each other. You would have 3x minus 1. Then there's less than equals to, and 2 times 4 is 8. Now you do the inverse of minus 1, which is to do plus 1 on all the sides. And that would be minus 4 plus 1 would be minus 3. Then there's a then there's a 3x. This minus 1 plus 1 would cancels, and you would have 9. Because we are aiming to get x by itself, so we divide by this 3 to each of them. And how many 3 makes 3 would be just 1, so is minus 1. Then there's just x in the middle. And how many 3 makes 9 would be 3. It means that this inequality includes all the values between minus 1 and 3, where minus 1 is not included, but 3 would be included. This is our last example on solving the linear inequality. So again, we're going to open up the bracket, and when we open up the bracket, we'll be having minus 4x plus 4 times 3 is a 12 less than equal to 12. You're going to do the simplification part. So you do minus 12 on both the sides. So it would be minus 4x is less than equals to, them two cancel would be 0. Now what happens whenever you divide with the negative sign, the inequality flip. So I'm going to write it down. This is very important for you to remember. So whenever you divide by a negative number, what happens? The inequality flips. Which means that if it's less than equals to, it would be bigger or equals to. So here, to make x by itself, we are dividing with the negative number. And so we are dividing by minus 4 on both the sides. So we are dividing by minus 4 on both the sides. So x, now because I say that whenever we're dividing with the negative number, the inequality flips. So we're going to flip this inequality here. And that would be changes to bigger or equals to. 0 divided by anything would still be 0. So it would have all the x values, which would be bigger or equals to 0. At this stage, I think I should explain you one more example. I'm just making a question which is minus 3 x plus 2 and less than equals to minus 9, for example. So what we're going to do is now, because there's a bracket here, we're going to expand it with the bracket. So it would be minus 3x, negative and positive makes a negative. 3 times 2 is 6, and then less than equals to minus 9. Now you do the inverse of minus 6, which is to do plus 6 on both the sides. And you'll be having minus 3x is less than equals to minus 3. To find out what the x value is, now you need to divide by minus 3 on both the sides. Remember, we are dividing this time again with a negative number. So whenever we're dividing with the negative number, what happens? This inequality will going to flip. So now we're going to do that. Minus 3, how many minus 3 makes minus 3? Of course, they both cancels out and you just be having x. Because we flipped this inequality, so it would be now bigger or equals to. How many minus 3 makes minus 3 would be a 1. So the inequality will be all the x values bigger or equals to 1. The key to remember here is whenever you're dividing with any kind of the negative number, the inequality will going to flip. So I hope you have understood this topic, which is solving linear inequality. And don't forget to subscribe my channel, please. Thank you.